DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. I want to talk to y'all about why being informed matters so much. Because, these days we got when people talk about information, well, first of all, we have access to more information nowadays than 30, 40 years ago people would get access to in their entire lives, and it's right at literally at our fingertips with our smartphones and computers and internet and all of that. And of course, people talk about being informed at least on the subjects that matter to you, and when something comes up, some emergency situation, etc. And then you have people talking about misinformation, or that's bad information, or fake news and all of that stuff. Anything people don't like, they call it misinformation or fake news. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. But the reason why this matters is because you have to know the extent of what you don't know, first of all, so you know where the gaps need to be filled in. But secondly, anytime that you get into a situation and you're dealing with other people, you also got to know what they know, what they don't know, and also what they are capable of and what they're not capable of, or what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. All of this matters, and I'll give you an example. So from the time that you see this video, by the time you see this video, I had a baby. A baby was just born. I'm recording this 2 days ago from when the baby was born. And when we were dealing with I ain't gonna give you all the details of it. I'll write an article about it for those of you who like to read. I go in more depth when I write than when I speak. But we were dealing with some doctors and nurses who were basically trying to push things on you. Any of you ever been to a hospital? And I don't really fuck with hospitals, honestly, because the system is not that I have a problem with a nurse or a doctor as a person. It's the way that the system is set up. It's set up for them to push on you what they want to give you. So they try to give you more interventions, not necessarily for pregnancy, but any kind of intervention. They try to give you more medicine, or have you do this, or give you this shot, or put this in your body, or do this to your body. Because the more stuff they have you do, again, this is not about an individual person. The system is set up like this because the more stuff they can have you do and have you take and put in you, well, there's more money for them, especially if you got insurance. The insurance basically guarantees they're going to get their money. So that's the way the system is set up. So they'll push stuff on you that you don't actually need and things that you don't want, because the system is set up for them to do it. So it's not the individual person who's bad, who's trying to say it to you, the nurse or the doctor. It's the fact that their system is this way and they're trained to do this. So it's the system that does it, and they're just pawns. They get used in the system, the workers work in these places. And the reason why I'm telling you about, and I just used like having a baby as an example, because and those of you who know me, or y'all know my work, I'm not the type of dude you're going to tell me how it's going to go, especially when I'm talking about my life, the life of my lady, or the life of my child. Like, that's crazy. Whatever we got to do, we'll do what we got to do, but you're not going to tell me how things are going to go. I'm the decision maker. I'm the ultimate decision maker. And when you're dealing with people in the medical profession, they're used to just telling people what to do and people just accepting it and going with it. So when somebody like me comes in and I'm not going with it, they get upset, and they get upset pretty quickly, and they just try to push what they want to push. And the reason why being informed matters is because when you are informed, you know what you have to do versus what you don't have to do, like what's required versus what's not required, and where that line is. If you don't know where the line is, this is what people will do to you. And I'm just using medicine as an example, but this is everywhere. If you don't know where the line is between what somebody is allowed to do and or not even allowed, yes, allowed and not allowed, but also the line between what you must comply with and what you don't have to comply with, they will force all of that stuff on you. They'll just keep forcing things on you because you don't know where the line is. You don't have the information. Example with police. I'll give a compliment to Brother Colin Kaepernick. I've been critical of him with a lot of stuff that he's done and many of the things that he said. But one thing that he did that was good is that he had this whole thing where he was teaching kids to know their rights. Now, I don't know exactly what he was teaching, so I'm not co-signing whatever the information was, but I like the idea of teaching kids to know what their rights are, so that when they're dealing with a person of authority, specifically police, I think his whole thing was about police. And when you're dealing with police, you need to know what your rights are. What do you have to comply with when you're talking to a cop versus what you don't have to comply with when you're talking to a cop? For example, if a police officer approaches you, this is not something that Cap talk, this is just what I'm saying. You don't have to answer a police officer's questions ever. Police officer approaches you and starts talking to you. You don't have to say anything back to the cop if you don't want to. You have a right to plead the fifth, and that is your right to remain silent. You have a right to not say anything to a cop if you don't want to say anything to a cop. But if you don't know that, you don't know you have a right to not say nothing, and the cop starts asking you questions, what are you going to do? Start answering the questions. And the cop could use whatever you say against you. Like they say, whatever you say can and will be used against you. They can use it against you to arrest you or whatever they can do. Muddy up your day, best case scenario, arrest you, worst case scenario. And this is because people don't know the information. You're not informed about the things that you need to be informed about. And I'm just using these as examples. I'll give you one more. About 2-3 years ago, I had some issues with my knee, right? My knee was bothering me, and I tried taking some time off, then start running again and stuff like that, and it was still bothering me. So I looked around and I found a doctor. This dude was he's like the doctor, he's like the knee specialist for the Miami Heat. Like Miami Heat have a player and he needed to get his knee looked at. They send the players to go to this guy, this doctor. He works at this hospital down near the University of Miami. So I go see this dude. I think I went there twice. So he did like x-rays, MRI, and this shit is like thousands of dollars you got to pay just for them to do this stuff. So they do all this stuff. Finally, I finally have to see the doctor, right? And he comes in the room and he's like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do. And he's telling me a little bit of stories, building rapport. And then he's telling me, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give some kind of shot. It was like cortisol or cortisone. I don't remember which one it was. We're going to give some kind of shot to your knee to destabilize it. Put your knee in a brace for like a month or 8 weeks or something like that. And then we're going to have you do physical therapy. And we got a guy. Of course, they got a guy. We're going to send you to this physical therapist and you can start doing stuff with the physical therapist. And I didn't do all that, but the visit to the doctor, just that conversation, and the conversation really was what I just told y'all. I spoke to the doctor for like 5 minutes. And all the other time, you go in a hospital, you talk, this person comes in, then the next level person comes in, next level person. It's like 4 different people by levels. They come in, they all tell you something, and then sometimes the stories change. And that's why I don't really fuck with the medical profession, because of the system of medicine, not even the profession, the system, because of the way it's set up here in America. And all of that visit cost $400 for the 5-minute conversation I had with this dude. And then the stuff that he was telling me he wanted to do, I was like, I don't want to do that. I need to put a cortisol shot in my knee and destabilize for 8 weeks. I'm gonna be on damn crutches and then do physical therapy. What is that actually gonna do? He's like, he's not even fixing the issue. It's like putting a Band-Aid on it by giving me medicine. Like, that's not even gonna solve my problem, right? So when I get out of the doctor's visit, I go call my trainer. And I say to my trainer, here's what the doctor told me. They said they want to do this, this, and this. And she was like, yo, you don't need to do any of that shit. What you need to do is, because she didn't live in, she wasn't in town. She's like, you need to go see this dude right here. He knows how to fix this kind of stuff. Tell him what the deal is, and he'll show you some stuff. So I called this dude, told him what the deal was, told him what the doctor said. He go, come see me. I can help you with that. I need to pay him. His fee was like $100. So I go see this dude, right? He's a physical therapist. He works out of his house. I paid him $100. We worked for an hour. He showed me like 8 exercises to do for my knee. He said, do these exercises for like a month. I did those exercises for a month. I've not had a single issue with my knee since, for $100 an hour. The doctor was going to have me take a shot in my knee of some medicine, some foreign substance into my knee, put me in a brace and on crutches for 2 months, and then go to their physical therapist for who knows what, if it would have worked. And that would have been thousands of dollars in fees and costs to do all that. Whereas when I got the information from somebody who looked at it a different way, I got a whole different solution, and I got it much faster for a much less price. The whole point being, not the doctors lie or that doctors are wrong. All right? I'm not saying that. So if you're a doctor or a nurse, or you're a fan of the American medical system, you have a right to be. The point is, I had access to information. That's the point I want you to understand. I had access to information from other sources so that I didn't just have to go with the person who many people look at as an authority, right? Your knees bothering you, you're going to go to a doctor, right? What higher authority is there than a doctor, right? This is the way a lot of people think. I don't think everybody watching this thinks that way, but a lot of people think this way. And this is why having information matters so much, so that you are not stuck with just one option, especially if that option doesn't sound like what you want. And this is why being informed matters so much in everything. I'm using these examples of things that happened in my life, but this matters in everything that you're doing. When you're doing business, you got to be informed as to what's going on. When you're dealing with other people, you got to be informed as to what's going on. Because when you're not informed, it's not just that somebody can call you dumb or you don't have information and the usual insults that people try to throw at you. What happens when you're not informed, folks, is that people will use your ignorance against you. That's why it matters. They will use your ignorance against you and have you doing things that you don't even need to do, paying for stuff that you don't need to pay for, agreeing to things that you don't really want to agree with because you don't know of any other options. That's why being informed matters, okay? So this is not about just getting information just to have information. This is about having information that so that you have options and choices as to how you operate in your life. So with that said, text me to get my daily motivation text straight to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. And what's the place I was going to tell you to go? I just put out a new training webinar. I'll give you 24-hour access to it. In that training webinar, I'm telling you how to increase your income year over year as a business person. If you want to build a business and get to that 6 and 7 figure level, you want to learn how to do that. I have a training that I just did. It's 45 minutes long. I'll give you 24 hours of access to the training. So you got a whole day to watch it. Go to the link. The link should be down below. I got to put it in the description. I got to remember to do it. Hopefully I do it. If I don't, just leave a comment and I'll give it to you. It's workonyourgame.net/r/A. I'll put the link down below. All right, so if I didn't do it, just leave a comment. But it'll be down there. That's access to the training. Work on your game. Dre Baldwin.